Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome, and this is the Weekly Pint. It's the show that is not a show. If you're new to this, it's a happy hour. It is an excuse for us to hang out down here in my basement. I guess I'm hanging out down here in my basement. You're hanging out wherever you are, and we pretend that we're sitting across a bar from each other. Or I guess you don't really sit across the bar from each other. You sit next to each other at the bar. That's what we're doing. Or at a table like in the bar area, just hanging out for a happy hour, having a drink together and talking about whatever we want to talk about. And usually it's about drinking because that's kind of all I talk about. My family gets really annoyed with me, actually, now that I think about it, because I just talk about drinking a lot. It's fine. It's fine. That's what you're here for, I hope. If not, sorry, we're not going to do any knitting or balloon animals or anything like that. I'm sure there is a podcast for that. It's probably called The Weekly Balloon Animals. I don't know. It's probably a show because there's a show for everything these days, including this. If you're new to this and you're listening via the podcast, I encourage you to listen live on Monday nights around 9:30. Ish, and when we say ish, because it is not a show, and sometimes we're a little late. We're a little bit late tonight, but not too bad. Yeah, sometimes it happens. So that's why it's not a show, because then we can't get in trouble for being late. If it was a show, you have like specific times you're supposed to do things, and people tune in, and that's not what this is. It's a happy hour, an excuse. That's what it is. But because it's a happy hour, I do want to know what it is you're drinking before I show you what I'm drinking. Again, happy hour. We drink together. Marco is having a Truth and cooking dinner. Josh is having a 51K IPA from Black Rocks Brewery in Michigan. Julia is having a half-acre slow melt pale ale. She's also here for the Dicks. Shout out to Dicks. We'll talk about Dicks in a minute. Eric is having a Taft's Bathtub Bock. Just found it for the first time this weekend. I still need to grab some cans for the collection. I've had it on draft a few times, but I don't have any cans for the collection, and it's going to bother me if I don't get them, because I have a lot of beer cans, and I've shifted the collection to just lagers, which means I have to focus on it. I can't let this collection go to hell. I probably need to build a shelf one of these days for it too. There's too many projects. There's always too many projects. Speaking of projects, I need a drink. Robert says, sadly, only water tonight. That's fine. Water is fully acceptable too, as long as you're drinking something. We maybe should we say? Like, I guess if you don't want to drink, you could eat a hot dog or a Slim Jim or something too instead of drinking. That's fine. I guess that counts. That's still happy for a happy hour, right? I don't know. This started as a tradition to kick off the show with schnapps, and I quickly ran out of schnapps, so I decided to just drink fun things that I have behind my bar. I got something specific for this show, for the schnappening, and then I went out to get it out of my car the next morning after I bought it. I opened the car door, and it had shifted in transit. And as soon as the car door opened, just that one bottle, I had other things, just that one bottle fell out of the car and smashed all over my driveway. It's still all over my driveway because I haven't gotten the hose out to hose it off. My kids call it Shrek's Swamp because it was some kind of like cream, liqueur, something or other. I can't remember what it was. It was cow's milk. I know that. I remember the ingredient. This was cow's milk specifically. And it was like this weird orangish color. It looks terrible. It looked terrible. It still looks terrible. And now I can't drink it on the show because it's smashed all over my driveway. I'm not going to go lick it off the driveway because it's gross. It was gross enough when it was like in the bottle. Now that it's out, it's terrible. It looks terrible. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Kat is having Boulevard Brewing vodka lemonade. Michael is having Green Buddy Peach Yuzu. Green Buddy. Would that be weed water? Don't know. Speaking of Green Buddies, I found this bottle chilling on. I have an auxiliary bar. Okay, I have a lot of booze in this house. We have the main bar, which is where I do most of my drinking. And then next to that is a separate little It's a little bar, like on a different wall, and that's where all the overflow booze goes. Then there's other booze just shoved in random nooks and crannies around the basement, and everywhere. Upstairs, there's another bar. There's a lot of booze in the house. On the auxiliary bar, as I call it, I found this bottle way in the back. I have no idea how old it is. I'm pretty sure that when I try to open it, it's going to be crusted shut because it is so old. I don't even know why I have it. This has to be something that my wife bought. Has to be. Midori. The melon liqueur. It's infused with Japanese melons. None of those American melons. Oh, yeah, this is good and crusty. Oh, I got it. All right. I don't know if I've ever tried this just by itself. I don't know if I've ever tried it in anything. Their recipes that are on the bottle tell me I could make a Midori margarita or a Midori melon ball. That's Midori vodka and orange juice. Okay. Yeah, whatever. It's, speaking of Shrek's swamp. All right. Justin says that he forgets what he's drinking. It's probably not Midori. You can't forget if you're drinking this stuff because it's green. It is as green as my Patrick's Day, whatever it was called. What was that thing called? The Leprechaun's Revenge or something? All right. Okay. I get a hint of fresh Japanese melons. Or Kool-Aid. One or the other. Justin says it's not Malort, though. I think I would choose Malort over this. It smells like not even good Kool-Aid. It smells like generic Kool-Aid. All right. Bottoms up. Yeah. It's like there was somebody that decided that they wanted to disguise the kids' cough medicine to taste like melon Kool-Aid. That's not good. That's not good at all. I mean, you're probably not supposed to just drink it like this. That's, I guess, not what it's for. The bottle's nice. The bottle looks like it's chiseled out of an ice cube. I like that. Or carved out of a melon, I guess. Is it supposed to be a melon? Like a piece of melon? I don't know. It's not even enjoyable. I don't encourage anybody to go out to their local bar and ask for a shot of Midori. It's not not meant for that. Okay. Oh. All right. That's going to go back on the auxiliary bar for a while. If you ever end up at my house for something, I'm making, what was it called? The Midori melon ball. I'm making that for everybody. That's all you get to drink. No beer, just Midori melon balls. Gonna make a big jug of melon balls. Oh. All right. I need something to wash that down. It's not going to get any better. So I bought several things for this show. The cream liqueur that smashed on my driveway was one of the things. And then I bought several other things. I was down at the Party Source, and as I do when I'm at the Party Source, I buy things for this show. And I picked up the booze, and then on the way out, I happened to walk down the RTD aisle, which I have not been down that aisle at the Party Source for a while, and it was a little overwhelming, a little bit disappointing looking at some of the drinks that were available. A lot of things that probably shouldn't exist. And I was turning to walk away from it in disgust and sadness. And then I remembered, no, I have an obligation to the world to try all of the things that I can get my hands on. And then, like a shining beacon, Eric says, I've never seen a melon that color, maybe an underripe watermelon, maybe. Like a shining beacon in the cooler, I saw something that I thought, okay, this flavor is something that I could get behind in the summertime. if I'm sitting out in the sun by the pool, okay, I can handle this flavor. I'm not in the sunshine by the pool. I'm sitting in the basement trying to enjoy myself after a long day. I just kind of want to drink a beer, and I'm not going to drink beer. This is really, really sad. Look at how big this can is. This is Smirnoff Ice Smash. I don't know what that means. I guess we're smashing two flavors together. Blue raspberry lemonade. Why? That is two things smashed that do not need smashed. See them smash on there? The other thing that is confusing about this is it's 8%. Why? Why does it need to be 8%? Like, this should be like a 4%, just lightly boozified Kool-Aid. That's what it should be, and it's not. It's 8%. A premium malt beverage. I like premium, as everybody knows. I like my things premium, with natural flavors and certified color. Well, at least it's certified. Oh, man. Smash! It doesn't tell me much else about it, other than that I'm supposed to be responsible. I don't think you can be responsible if you're drinking an 8% Smirnoff Ice Smash Blue Raspberry Lemonade. Because I'm drinking this and because it's ridiculous and obnoxious and weird, I went with like the complete opposite glass that I could come up with. Justin says, "Who have you become?" I do this for you guys. I am an entertainer. I am entertaining you with Smash. I got a Stein, a beer Stein, because why not? The joke's on all of us. This is probably going to be delicious. I mean, I like lemonade, and I like blue raspberry. I don't really know what a blue raspberry is, but all right. Look at that color. That is certified. That is definitely a certified color. Okay. Here, we'll get this out of the way. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to say something controversial. I love what this smells. I don't remember what the flavor of Kool-Aid was called. It was like ice something. I don't know. It was by far my favorite flavor of Kool-Aid as a kid. This smells like that Kool-Aid. Just now the whole room smells like it. This smells like my childhood. Not that anybody was drinking Smash when I was a child, but Justin says it looks like Baja Blast. In this light, it does, because that's kind of a warm light. It is not Baja Blast colored. It is definitely like blue, like pool water. You can see it better up there. All right. God, it smells so good. All right, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. Let's see. Yep. No joke, that's good. Those are the best chemicals I've ever tasted in my life. Yeah, that I actually kind of like it. I don't know how to feel about myself anymore. It's good. As predicted, this is a flavor this is a thing that I would drink by the pool. If you like made like a big giant pitcher of this and put it like over ice and threw some fresh fruit and stuff in there and brought it out to me, and you said, "Hey, I crafted this cocktail using like actual like good ingredients. I made this," and you poured it in a glass for me, I would like congratulate you and tell you how genius you were. And yeah, it's actually kind of good. It's an abomination that it exists, but it's good. All right, let's talk about Eric says that is mother of the bride dress color. Justin says I was never in a frat. Ask my nephew if he had it. I don't think this existed then. I think this is new. I think this is like this new modern thing that's happening. All right, let's talk about some local booze news. The The drunk line is open. You can see that on the screen. I never say that anymore, but it's there. 56770 drink. Although I've got it on silent, that probably should change that. If you want to call in and talk about your favorite Kool-Aid flavors or whatever, maybe. And they boozify all the Kool-Aid flavors. I'm fine with that. There's been a little bit of local news this week and the last couple weeks that I have not written about or talked about that I figure we probably should. And we'll start with Braxton. Braxton's Cincinnati Tap Room closes, and I say for now because at the very end of the I guess it was an article. I don't think it was a press release. It was an article that was written by the Business Courier, I believe. I think a couple places picked up on it. And the last quote in the article that I was reading said, this is a quote, even though the Pendleton site is permanently closed, Rouse, meaning Jake Rouse, hinted at future plans to make up for the fact that Braxton is no longer operating in the space. He could not elaborate publicly on when and where that might be. I take that as a reader as they're not done with Ohio. That although, yes, the Braxton Cincinnati Tap Room is closed and closed a while ago. It was like 6 months ago when the place closed at the end of last year. They just didn't talk about it. That even though they're closed, they are not done with an Ohio tap room, which isn't, if that's true, which, again, he can't publicly disclose. If that's true, it makes perfect sense to me. However, and this is my personal thoughts about this, I don't think Braxton, Julie says, isn't that location for sale? Yes. I don't think that Braxton is a brand that should live downtown. And I say that fully knowing that Braxton Covington is downtown and it belongs there, and it does really great there, and it is a perfect spot for them to be there. I'm talking about all these other tap rooms that they're doing. When there's been a little bit of an evolution for who Braxton is. Obviously, Covington has changed a little bit, but not that much. And then they opened up Labs at the Party Source, which was great. It was an experimental facility, lots of different small batch beers that were coming out. And then you had the Barrel House over in Fort Mitchell. That was all barrel-aged beers, and I say all loosely. Yes, they still have other things, but it was focused on barrel-aged beers and these big kind of things. When they opened Braxton Cincinnati, the idea was that it was kind of all of those taproom ideas coming together into one space. It didn't really live up to that completely, and that was some identity problems of the taproom, of the neighborhood, of all of that. And we're starting to see that now, though, with the new taproom down in Union. That is kind of this mixture of all of these things, and that is, in my mind, the personality that Braxton Cincinnati should have felt like and just never did for lots of reasons. It just couldn't. Julia says maybe they'll open up in Westchester or Mason like everyone else. Justin says, in my opinion, they should keep it tight-knit, keep it to one or two locations. I do not anticipate that is their business model at all, that it's just going to be a couple locations. I think that they kind of in the similar vein of what we've seen kind of 50 West doing, where they, if an opportunity pops up and it's a space that they feel like a tap room could do well, I think Braxton's going to jump on it, and they will be. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it. My first instinct was to call them cookie cutter tap rooms, but that sounds bad. But much like 50 West, they've figured out what taproom model works for them as a company. Love it or hate it, and I know that everybody has their thoughts and opinions about every taproom in the city. That is the personality of what 50 West is now. And in the same way, I think that if you look at the Braxton Union taproom, that is the personality of what Braxton taprooms will look like going forward. And I do think taprooms is a key descriptor there because I don't know that they'll all be locally here, but I do think we'll see more locally here. But then there is no reason that we couldn't see them in other cities starting to pop up at some point. Once, I guess, expansion makes sense. Again, it has to be the right spot, the right deal. All of those things have to fit into place first. But because they did kind of hint at it in the article, that to me means that there are probably some kind of wheels in motion that they are wanting to talk about, but they can't really talk about yet. Maybe things haven't lined up yet. Just my assumption when somebody writes something like that in an article that there's something going on there. My opinion. I personally love Braxton. I think that they make great beer, and I think that there's a lot of space for them here in this market. It is very different than what some other places have done with their taproom expansions. If you look at Mad Tree is probably the best example. As they've opened up these different locations, they are very different from each other. Mad Tree 2.0 is very different from the Alcove, which is very different than Blue Ash, for good or bad. Again, everybody's got their opinions, but it's just a different plan of expansion. And I don't know what's right and what's wrong, and I don't think anybody does. And I love seeing places just kind of go with what they feel is right for them, because we're still in a weird kind of experimental phase with all of this craft beer stuff. I say that as I drink my blue Kool-Aid stuff. It's good. I want ice for it, but it's good. 8%'s not too boozy. It does not come off bad. So that's Braxton closing Cincinnati for now, in my opinion, for now. However, the other recent closure, Voodoo Cincinnati. This one, and I want to preface this with all of the discussions I've ever had with ownership of Voodoo Cincinnati. Chris have always been positive. I think he is a great guy. Had good intentions with this space. It just never really worked. And I definitely have. I wrote a lot of thoughts about the tap room, some of which are a little harsh. They opened in August of 2023, so it didn't have a lot of time to kind of figure themselves out, and that happens. The tap room. What I wrote down here is that people still don't understand that these are locally owned franchises. Which is a huge part of the problem in my book. The brand itself does not have enough power to sustain something like that. There are other brands, and as much as we hate them, BrewDog is one of those brands. The brand itself can sustain a tap room. That is not a franchise model, though. I will say Highwire is one that the brand has some power in the city. I think West 6th does have some power. I think that I could be proven right or wrong over time with that one, but we'll see. But Voodoo is a tough one, and I think they have struggled trying to explain what is going on there. They want to lean very hard in this idea of telling people that they are locally owned franchises, which they are, but they don't know how to communicate that with customers as they walk in. That's not the only problem, and I will get to some of the other problems, but they have just struggled so much with trying to explain to people what Voodoo is. People walk in, and it's definitely not a brewery, and you immediately get that when you walk in there. And then if you start asking about it, they're very quick to tell you, well, no, it's locally owned. Well, then it gets confusing of, okay, so where's your brewery? Well, it's in Pennsylvania. Well, what? It's just very confusing. Eric says BrewDog isn't a franchise, so it's a centrally owned evil. Yes. A centrally owned evil that is definitely struggling right now too. BrewDog as a company, not the local tap room. The company is definitely struggling. Sort of. I guess they would say they're not struggling, but the Columbus facility is operating at what, 30% capacity? Is that what the article said a couple weeks ago? Yeah, it's struggling. So the problems that I've identified, and this is not just for the Cincinnati Voodoo Tap Room, this also goes for the Westchester Voodoo Tap Room, which, again, locally owned operators. Every time that I've talked to her a couple times, and she's been wonderful. I have nothing against either her or Chris, the owner of the Cincinnati spot. Number one for me, cost. I think I've probably talked about that on this show before. I don't know if I ever have put it into writing or not, but it's too expensive. You walk in and the beer is more expensive than any other tap room, I think, probably, or right up there with the most expensive things in any other tap room. There are beers that I cringe when I order them. I order them because I want to try them and I want to be able to have that experience to share with people. But otherwise, there is no way that I would order that beer. It's expensive, and the food is a little expensive too, in my opinion. On top of that, it's kind of uncomfortable. And I look, I have very low standards for how comfortable I think a tap room should be. And I get that there are some people that say, no, we're past that point. If you put me in a warehouse sitting at a picnic table, I'm going to be pissed off. And I get that, and I respect that. I think there's still room for it. I think that if you make good beer and you have some kind of a story that I connect with, I will sit at a picnic table in a warehouse all day long and drink your beer and talk to people and have a really, really good time with it. That's how I feel. And Josh says, to date, BrewDog still holds the title of the worst West Coast IPA I've been served. I could probably make a list that might compete with it, in my opinion. We won't go there. But comfortability, vibe, I guess, is how I would kind of classify that. They have like this like kind of design scheme that they do. They're uncomfortable metal chairs. And when I say, I mean, we all know the chair, the bar stool. There is like a spinoff of that bar stool that is the most miserable thing in the world, that has like some kind of weird little back to it. You guys know what I'm talking about. It sucks to sit at, and that's the bar stools that they have. Their tables are made out of pallets, which, again, in some instances, I get, and I don't care. If you are not actually making your beer on site, if you are, for all intents and purposes, a restaurant that just happens to buy all of your beer from one spot, you gotta have something that's a little more comfortable for me. I don't care. Like, it's gotta be more comfortable, and it's not. I don't want to sit there and hang out for a long time. It makes me want to finish my beer and leave. And especially when you're talking about downtown, I can walk to God knows how many other places that, in my opinion, are more comfortable, have a better tap list, are more affordable, and that make me feel better. Christine says, as long as there isn't outdoor-only seating, I'm happy. Jester King is outside in a barn in Texas, and it kills me, but I love Jester King. Yeah, I don't know. Like a place like Jester King, I think I would be okay with that. I would be all right. If you said I have to sit outside, maybe it's going to change what days I go. I'm not going in like the heat of the summer, maybe. But I don't even know that. I know, like, when I go to Fibonacci here in town, Usually I go there because I know I'm going to be sitting outside. I much prefer to sit out in the beer garden at Fibonacci than I do inside most of the time. That's also because my kids are usually in tow. I don't think I can go there anymore without my kids coming. If they know that's where I'm going, they're coming with me because they want to like yell at the goats or something. I don't know what they do. They just like talk to them. I don't know. Who talks to goats? I don't know. So I don't know. I do think that there are places that I can be very, very uncomfortable and be very happy to be uncomfortable. That's not the right way to put it. I would like to be more comfortable always, but be accepting of the uncomfortability. You don't have to do it, but I'm okay with it. Christine says that is fair with kids. I feel like you always got to be outside. Usually, especially with my oldest is fine now at this point. She can be inside. The youngest, we always got to keep him outside. You don't know what's going to happen. He's going to spill something. He's going to be louder than he should be. And he's probably going to have his iPad, and it's probably going to be on with the volume cranked up. He belongs outdoors always. He's outside right now. We built him a little shelter out there to live in. He sleeps out there. He's fine. It's fine. So it's just uncomfortable for what it is. Voodoo. I don't enjoy being there. And then going back to the whole idea of a tap room that makes beer in a different state, but is locally owned, but franchise. It's the authenticity, I think, is something that some people struggle with. It gets confusing, and you just don't know who they are and what they're about. If you walk into a place like West 6th or Highwire or Brewdog, even they make no they will tell you, we're a brewery that is owned by people down in Asheville. That's where we make all our beer, and we're up here because we love Cincinnati, and we know Cincinnati loves our beer, and we want to share it with them. Oh, great. We're West 6, we're a brewery out of Lexington, we love the city. We've been here for a long time. This was, just made sense for us. Okay, I can get behind that too. Brewdog, we're punks, and maybe they're a bad example, but they know who they are, and they own who they are, and they've found a way to easily. That's a better way to put it. They have found a way to easily communicate who they are to their customer. Voodoo still has not figured out that way to easily communicate it to their customer, because I don't know that they necessarily know who they are. And so I struggle with that when I go to the tap room. And that goes for both tap rooms. I struggle with that. It just doesn't feel authentic to me. A lot of people just feel like it's kind of a corporate chain, even though it's not. That's how it feels for people. Gotta get more of this Kool-Aid. That is solid. So openings, closings, it's all always happening here in town. There's always something going on. Although Depot is going strong, getting their tap room ready and their brewery ready. They're making beer. There are places opening. It's not all doom and gloom. That's not a story that I'm talking about tonight, but just want to remind people there are good things happening in town. You know what one of the best things that Christine says, is that really Kool-Aid? No, it just tastes like Kool-Aid. This is Smirnoff Blue Raspberry Smash. It's a blue raspberry lemonade, and it's freaking delicious. I do this for you. As I was saying, there is something happening here in town that is nothing but good, nothing but wonderful. You guys know what it is. It's Dick's Potato Chips. Nothing but wonderful. The best thing that is happening here in town. We want to talk about authentic. These guys are authentic. They understand who they are. They know how to communicate it to their customers. Everything about it. Everything about Dick's is perfect, and that is why I am always so happy to have them as a sponsor of this show, because this is also a very authentic show. I'm not faking that I'm drinking whatever this is. It's not faking. I'm really doing this. It's who I am. It's not who I am. It's not, I don't want to drink this. It's good though. I do want to eat Dick's potato chips because they make me feel better than this blue stuff ever could make me feel. I always keep them here in the basement. I am not making that up. I always keep them here in the basement. In fact, I'll go even further. Yes, Dick's sponsors this show. And yes, he has offered to send me potato chips to keep the basement stocked since he's a sponsor. I told him he didn't need to because I always have them here in the basement. I have so many Dick's and I keep them in constant rotation. I don't need it. It's already part of my grocery shopping experience. If you haven't tried them, try Dick's potato chips. I cannot implore you enough to do this. Go to your favorite bar, especially if it's a good dive bar. Hopefully they've got Dick's potato chips. If they don't, tell them to get Dick's potato chips. Tell them to just send an email to Dick's potato chips. Tell them to get them there because they need to be there. I usually buy mine at Jungle Gyms. I know Party Source has some. There's other retailers. Just go to the website. That's probably the easiest way to do it. If you go to the website, you can order them. You can get a whole box of Dick's right on your doorstep. And this time of year, look, we finished with Mother's Day, and we know moms love Dick's. I got to tell you something. Dads love Dick's too. They do. Get some Dick's for your favorite dad in your life. Get him a whole box of Dick's. Like, look, Dad, or father figure, whoever you are, I got you some Dick's because I think that you need these. Josh says, I personally have consumed about 24 bags of Dick's. I don't even know how many bags of Dick's I've had. A lot. Like, I've had a lot of Dick's in my life. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm very proud of it, in fact. So thank you to Dick's for sponsoring this show. Thank you to Dick's just for being a part of my life. I really love Dick's. In fact, I'm going to eat some after the show. I have not had dinner yet, and it's a long story. We were at the park. It was a little chaotic, and got home late, and I went upstairs, and I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do for dinner? I've got like 4 minutes before the show has to start. I grabbed 2 hot dogs, stuck them in a baggie, tossed them in the fridge down here, grabbed 2 hot dog buns, bag of Dick's. It's my plans. Go to dickspotatochips.com. You'll thank me later. I'll thank me later when I eat Dick's potato chips. Let's talk about Casamigos. I was going to write something about this because this little Casamigos has been going through a lot of, like, it was a really good story most of the year. Really good story most of the year. Let's see. Christine says, I walked into a Higher Gravity Northside a bit ago, bought 2 bags of Dick's and walked out. Perfect. That's fine. Casamigos. If you don't know Casamigos, so this, I made up my mind I was going to write about this when it was yesterday, day before, something like that. A new press release hit my email from Casamigos, and they have this new ad campaign that is called "Anything Goes with My Casamigos." I was like, oh, that's clever. It's fun. Anything goes with my. The whole brand is about friends and all this. That's clever. Wait a minute. Didn't I read something else about Casamigos lately? And I did. I'm getting ahead of myself. The brand, if you don't know it, was founded by it was a group of people, but one of those investors in the brand originally was George Clooney. This was his big tequila thing. And I say big because it sold for around $1 billion. Diageo bought them out, and it was a big deal. A ton of money for this brand. Founded in 2013. And yeah, I said Diageo. We won't go down that rabbit hole, but it is the same Diageo that is just coming off of this big legal battle with Diddy. We could talk a lot about Diddy. In fact, allegedly, there are some sources that are saying that the video of Diddy beating what's her name, whatever his girlfriend, wife, whoever she was, the hotel video where he was beating her up and dragging her around, and there are some sources that are saying that video was leaked to CNN by Diageo as this whole legal thing was happening. Diageo is shady, allegedly shady. Yeah, so Diageo bought them out. Since they bought them out, the brand has been doing amazing, like growing like you would not believe. It's been double-digit growth. 2019, every year since 2019, it's just been double-digit growth every single year, just exploding in a really good way. Earlier this year, they kicked off a big campaign because they want to, even though it's been growing, they did some kind of research that said that there are still, I don't remember what the actual number was, just a ton of people that still just don't know about it. So they're thinking, all right, so if we're already seeing all this growth, if we can let everybody know about this brand that's about, drinking with friends, and the brand story is great. It was, George Clooney and his friends, and they wanted to start this brand of here's what we drink when we're together, and it's your friends and your house of friends, I think is what it translates to. It was good, and they wanted to keep continuing to kind of share that with people. It was fine. There is currently a new lawsuit that is out there, out of New York, that is alleging that Casamigos is not tequila. That they're taking some tequila, but they are then watering it down with what the article, or I guess it was a press release something, is calling sugar water. It's cane derived spirits. So they're watering it down with essentially some kind of Mexican rum. It looks like it's got some legs to it. They are also alleging that it's not just Casamigos, it's several other luxury brands from Diageo. There's a lot of regulations in place to protect consumers from fake tequila. In the last couple years, there's been a lot of hubbub, I guess. Is that a good word? I think it's a good word. About tequila, because additives that can be you can put a lot of additives in tequila and still call it 100% agave. And there's a lot of people that are mad about that and want that changed. And the regulating body doesn't want to change it. It's crazy, but this is a whole different level. This is something that is definitely illegal. They are alleging that it is not just distillate from Blue Weber agave plant. It is cane-derived spirits. Christine says that friends would never water down tequila. Or they would tell you. They would tell you if they did. The bottle of Casamigos, on it says, tequila, 100% agave azul. That means tequila, 100% blue agave. I'm pretty sure. It might be what this is. This might be 100% blue agave. I don't know. But this is alleging that that's not true. The quote is, an investigation of Casamigos has shown it consists of significant concentrations of cane or other types of alcohol rather than pure tequila. That is a bad thing. It's not just shitty. It's straight up illegal on both ends of the spectrum. Of course, I have to say that Diageo denies all of this. They say it's not true. I didn't pull their quote, but it was something like, these allegations are crazy. This is not true. The lawsuit doesn't just go after Diageo either. They go right to the CRT. That's the governing body in Mexico that defines all the tequila stuff and enforces it, I guess. They say that they claim that they are either turning a blind eye or might even be taking kickbacks to ignore the fact that Diageo is messing with their tequilas and other things. We don't know how deep this could possibly go. That's Diageo, and I say this in full disclosure. I own Diageo stock. I'm technically an owner of Diageo. I'm not doing this, but it's kind of a crappy company. It's kind of crappy, is what it seems. Allegedly, they're a crappy company. It does make me feel a certain type of way. Like, it's disappointing. I'm a fan of Guinness. That is a Diageo product. What are some other Diageo products that I can't think of? Let's look that up. Biggest Diageo products. That's a good thing to look up. Diageo products. It would help if I spelled Diageo. Oh, nope, I got it. Smirnoff. Oh, this is... This might be Diageo. It's not going to tell me on here, though. No, it doesn't really tell me. But I think this is Diageo. Smirnoff is a Diageo brand, according to this first little search that I did. Captain Morgan, Don Julio, Guinness, Johnny Walker, J&B, Ciroc, Kettle One, Lagavulin, Casamigos, Bullet Bourbon. Oh, here we go. We could go right to their website. That might be easier. Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. Do I really have to... How old am I? Okay. I always put I'm 100 years old just because it's fun. Tanqueray, Bailey's, Crown Royal, Gordon's. I said Bullet right. Aviation, Hennessy, Kilkenny. Yeah. Zacapa rum. Oh man. Yeah, it's a crappy company basically. Julia says next time there's a Diageo shareholder vote to stop falsifying the tequila. Josh says seems like a stock you can dump for more Tilray stock. I'm not dumping anything till I get my money back. I'm just gonna let it tank. So basically, all of these big companies are just terrible companies, is what we're learning. All of them. And as the booze industry is kind of going through whatever it's going through right now, maybe they're all freaking out and they are just doing whatever they can to try to make money. That's kind of what I'm assuming through all of this. I don't know. It's it is what it is. Big business is sometimes not awesome. I don't know that there are a lot of examples of huge companies that are great, right? Like they all have either something in their past or something right now that just kind of isn't great. What is the biggest good company that exists? Because I don't know. Probably Dick's Potato Chips. They're probably the biggest good company that I could think of. Makes sense to me. Seriously, this stuff is good. Even if it's made by the evil empire, Tastes good. At that, Casamigos is good. It's definitely like not the same as other tequilas, but it's good. Costco or Ben and Jerry's, maybe. Christine says you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. That's it. That's the quote. I think it was written about Diageo. Pretty sure. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I'm burping now. I appreciate the support of everybody that hangs out every week. I appreciate the support of Dick's Potato Chips, like more than I can tell you guys. Again, if you haven't already, please go to dickspotatochips.com and support them because they support us. Now, let me rephrase that. Don't support them because they support us. Support them because they're awesome and because they support us. Support them because they're awesome. The chips are great. If you are a local bar or brewery owner, I cannot ask you loud enough to go to Dick's Potato Chips, send an email, and get them at your spot. I cannot be louder about that and tell you to do it because it increases the likelihood of me ordering food by like at least 47%, 57%. I will order Dick's Potato Chips because they're awesome. I appreciate Dick's. Thank you guys very much. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out every week and being a part of the show. This is the most consistent of all of my shows for a very good reason, and that is because of you guys. It's fun to do, and that makes it easy. There's lots of fun stuff coming in the next coming weeks. Yeah, lots of video stuff. I am kind of trying a new thing with some video stuff, trying to make more content. So stay tuned for that. Get out, drink some local beer, go to your favorite spot, and drink something that's local. Maybe not something that's this color, although it's fine. If they have something this color, drink it and be happy. Drink what makes you happy. We'll be back next week. Thank you guys very much. Yeah, thank you. That's it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Go to thegnarlygnome.com/support if you want to support not just this show, but all of the stuff that I do. Yeah. Julia says, take your out-of-town friends to your favorite local spots too. Absolutely. Also, there's fun Drinking with the Gnome content coming soon. Pray this week. Stay tuned. Cheers, everybody. Yes, you can cook hot dogs in a dishwasher. Tonight, I put mine on a hot dog roller.